I wanted to use this piece of cloth in a quilt. It was given to me by a friend of mine, and she had it in her closet for 20 years. It is a piece of an old obi, which is a belt that's used to go over a kimono in Japan, and she visited Japan in the 60s and had this cloth ever since. So I'm hoping to give this back to her in a new form so that she could hang it up and use it and remember her trip. So what I've done is just put some fabric around it. You can see that I have a backing and the quilting fabric inside, and so I'm using really that as my quilt. So constructing the top of the quilt was really very easy, but of course following with quilting lines all of the patterns in the piece is time consuming and a little bit more difficult. So let me tell you what caught me. I knew that I didn't want to alter this piece at all because it was so beautiful, and that I was going to quilt around it. So I tried to get, for the border, a fabric that I could do the same thing. So if you notice here, all I did was take the original design and quilt around it. Here's the original design without any quilting. And just like in this picture, once you quilt around the design within the fabric, it puffs up and it becomes much more three-dimensional. So that's what I wanted to do. And I thought that I could pick up some of the colors in the quilt. And I was looking at these greens and try to match them. Now this piece of material was completely white when I started. And I dyed it, and always when you dye something, at least when I dye something, I don't always get the exact color that I wanted. But I still thought it would work. Now I think it does and I think it doesn't work. I love mirroring the quilting in both places, but I don't think the color is quite harmonious. You see in this piece, they have both gold and silver and brown. And so I was hoping to pick up some of the silvery colors and the green colors, but I think what happens is it washes out the brown. So one of my challenges here is to figure out a way that I could pick up more brown color on here and figure out a way that I would take some of the brown color out of these places. So if you look on the bottom, one of the things that I tried to do was to actually paint with fabric dye some of the flowers so that I've picked up the brown and the black, trying to make this a little bit more dramatic. What I did is I painted them after I quilted them so that you still have a sense of this green silver color, but you can still see the brown and the black pattern as it's developing. So that was one way that I tried to get more browns and blacks to match this fabric. Now the second thing I'm going to do, and I've done it in very small places, is I am going to quilt this brown background in thread colors that will match this. So right here I've quilted it in a color that's kind of a silver green that will match, and I'll do more of that in these spaces once I get everything quilted. And here, if you look at here, this is actually, it looks almost like a green, but this is actually a silver color. So once I get this piece quilted, I will use a silver thread through this area, so that again it will give a hue that is more complementary to the border. I'm thinking that I will use black here and here, and some of these really dark lines I may use a little bit of black to accentuate them, and then I'll quilt, you know, the rest of this gold background in silver hue thread of different colors that would match some of the quilting within the piece. So that's where I am right now, and it's kind of fun because I don't know if it's going to work. So part of the fun of creating this is to see how I can get a really nice harmonious piece when the original colors aren't quite harmonious as I would like them. One of the things I love so much about the creative process is you don't know where it's going to go. And in something like this, I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know what thread color is going to look the best. I don't even know if at the end I will actually get a piece I like. But trying to make it all work together is a lot of fun. I may make these painted images darker if I think that would add. I may put some more of these colors in here besides just the brown and the black. So I don't know what I'm going to do next. The only thing I know for sure that I'm going to do next is to quilt some of this in silver blue or silver green and continue with this silver blue, and then I don't know, I'll see what happens.